Been stalking the Wheatus socials, and I noticed that you went to see your favorite band, AC/DC, last month in Nashville. And I know that as a kid, yes, you're like headbanging. As a kid, you dressed up as Angus Young. Do they still hold up with their live performances?
So much. They're still flawless. It's really incredible. I mean, the thing about ACDC is like when you realize what's happening in front of you, this is a stadium show that sounds so loud and so good. And then you realize there's no tracks playing. It's five people on the stage actually making this noise. And it's so orderly, like such good surprises. And like, I don't want to sound like old school guy, but they're doing it the old way in a modern arena, like, and it's they haven't kind of skipped a beat, so it's just so powerful and real. It's, oh man, go see ACDC, just do it.
Well, that sounds really incredible. And they were inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 2003. And I also did notice on socials that you went to the museum. Who do you think should be inducted?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. I wouldn't mind seeing Ani DeFranco inducted. She wouldn't have anything to do with that. Indigo Girls, I think, are in now, right? Or is that true? I don't know if I'm speaking out of my mouth here. Anyway, who should go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? That is a really good question. Bob Mould, maybe somebody from that era of like power pop, Midwest sort of indie power pop. And there's a lot of people who I would put forth. Our bass player Matthew should be in there.
Right, yeah, he's a good publicist. Like I was interacting with him on through email. And Cindy Lauper, she just got inducted.
Yes, that's a good one. That's very positive. We love that.
Yeah. How do you feel about her going on her farewell tour?
I hope it's not true. She's lying to us. That would be neat. But I totally respect the decision if that is authentic. And I understand, like, she's got nothing to prove to me or anybody. She's been around. She's done her thing. She's proved her point. So if she wants to bow out, I understand. It's all love. But I will be sad to not get a chance to watch her play.
I'm gonna see her when she comes. I'm from, California, Bay Area. I missed her when she opened for Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart says that he's never gonna retire because he loves what he does, even though his doctor told him to rest because he had some health issues. Like you said, it's time to bow down like I did my thing for so many decades. And you've been touring as well. What do you do when you're not on the road?
Like break down cardboard boxes and plug in gear and record demos and rehearse and rebuild my guitars and write songs and get ready for tour and do down payments on the bus and like all the stuff that's required to tour again. That's what I'm doing.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's still in regards to like music and preparing for the next time you go out.
100%. Sometimes I ride my BMX bike, but it hasn't been happening a lot lately because I just had surgery. So yeah, but we're just preparing to hit the road again in August, and in September and October and November, we're going to be on the road. There's something like 60 something dates between now and the end of the year. And we're ending at Wembley Arena with Bowling for Soup.
I
So
saw that in December.
yeah,
Are
yeah.
you gonna play your Christmas version of Teenage Dirtbag?
Really good question. I don't know. We have to put it to the people in the audience. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with that, but I know that everyone is into that track and that it's gone sort of a little bit viral, and we're going to do our best to, because we don't have a lot of time to play on that stage, so we got to squeeze everything in. We're supposed to play the whole first album, so maybe one Dirtbag is enough. I don't know. I'm not sure. I want to play it.
And maybe like some mashup. I know that you hail from New York. I've been there one time many moons ago with my mom, and we went to do the touristy thing. And if I were to come back, maybe like your hometown or wherever you're currently residing, what are some good local spots to visit?
Okay, so you got to get pizza at Sam's. That's 231st Street in the Bronx. You got to have a fancy dinner at Vinegar Hill House. You got to go see a band at the Mercury Lounge. You have to stop in at Flounce's Tavern down in the Wall Street district. And then I highly suggest walking around Harlem and looking for food. That would be my recommendation. Also for food, you have Arthur Avenue in the Bronx. Not the fancy places. You want to go to the places that locals go to, right? You don't want to go to like some touristy things. So you stay out of Manhattan generally for food. But those would be my suggestions.
Okay, I am familiar with Mercury Lounge, so and as a music person, I'll definitely have to go. Don't get offended by this. I'm gonna have to rep San Francisco, even though it cringes me to say that, but our Chinatown is better.
You know what? Okay, now we're fighting because I used to buy my suits for stage down in Chinatown in New York, and I totally disagree. I think that we have a better one. We have more like quirky stuff down there. Like there's a restaurant called Vietnam that's really amazing that you should check out. So I no, I don't think so. Sorry.
Well, maybe if you come to our San Francisco Chinatown, you can get some more quirky suits
I know. I want to
or
get
bucket
quirky.
hats.
Yo, that's where I used to get them. That's where they used to buy that stuff. Like, oh, it was all because it was really cheap and it was
Yeah.
like really, really nice and silky and all this, like really wonderful clothing. So I like, no, I won't have any slander of our Chinatown.
Fair enough. I saw you guys at Bottom of the Hill, again, plugging San Francisco. And I know that you guys don't do your traditional set list. You take song requests. And if I would have known that ahead of time, I would have requested the Rush song, Time Stands Still, because I'm not a Rush person, but that's my favorite song.
Really? That's so
Yeah.
strange. Why? Wait, how? I want to know. How did that come to be your favorite song?
A lot of like traditional original Rush fans don't like it because that I think Geddy Lee was kind of more going to the pop like synthy, and I'm a very synth wave person like The Cure, New Order, Depeche Mode. So I think that's why I was like, oh wait, this is not a bad song. And then you have Amy Mann on vocals.
Yep, she's singing on it. I'm so glad somebody knows this stuff. Wow. Like we were just listening to 80s Rush on a phone when we started our day. We started at like 6 o'clock in the morning and everyone was like, what are we starting with? And we're like, say, we've got to start with some Rush. Power's out, no internet. Let's stream some Rush on roaming. So yeah, I feel you on the 80s synth Rush. It's some of my favorite stuff. In fact, I think it's their best, really. But I know you can catch some smoke saying things like that from like old 70s Rush fans. They get real mad.
What we mutually were obsessed with was the movie Jaws, which is now 50 years old.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, same anniversary. I can't believe that Teenage Dirtbag is exactly half as old as Jaws. That's weird. I think it might even be to the day, but whatever. Jaws is like the first serious movie that I loved, like really loved. And I was kind of scared of it and it was kind of gory, but I felt like it was so important. Also, nobody dies better than Quint in any movie ever in the history of people dying. Like, that's unreal. And watching it now, I mean, how old are you?
I am 31.
So you are 20 years younger than me. So does it hold up for you as a younger person that you watch that and you're okay with it?
It's been a while since I've watched it, but compared to the other shark movies out now, it totally does because, with Steven Spielberg, he used like an animatronic shark and everything. Like if you watch like the sci-fi, it's all CGI and it looks so
Right.
fake.
So the animatronic does look a little bit more real than the CGI shark. Now that's wild. I'm sad that they're not doing stuff like that anymore because you know what is lost, right? Obviously, if he showed you the animatronic shark for too long, you would know it was fake, right? You would just stop believing in it. But he shows it to you the way that you would see a shark in the wild, which is you'd only see it for a split second and then it would be gone. And then you'd see like its tail for a second and then it would be gone. And then before you know it, it would be like eating you and you'd be like, like you wouldn't see these long, like they made movies with sharks flying out of the water into tornadoes and
Yeah.
flying around. Like that's not how anyone's ever going to see a shark. I feel like the old way in that instance is like way better, because it's just more real.
I went parasailing years ago in the Dominican Republic and I was afraid to put my feet in the water because I'm just like, that Jaws point of view.
Oh my God. And the girl in the beginning who gets eaten is the
Yeah.
scariest thing ever in a movie. It's so real and so like, oh my God, this is actually happening to this person. Jaws is the realest. It's killer.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it OG with Jaws. Okay, so you mentioned Teenage Dirtbag, 25 years old, and their origin has a very dark story, especially with the word dirtbag. And it reminded me not exactly the same story, but how Pearl Jam was inspired and wrote Jeremy.
Right. Yeah, a little bit. In Dirtbag, it's sort of a happy ending, and it's because it's fictionalized and all that stuff. It's like a fairy tale, but the context of the song and the setting, the original setting, and the time and place of its origin, that's the summer of 1984 on Long Island, and it wasn't a very nice time. I have to admit, I would feel like if I tried to glaze that over or make it prettier or whatever, it wouldn't be great. It would be horrible. It was a time where I found my musical identity, and in order to write the song, it had to have a little bit of that the Satan thing in it, like indirectly. It was very real to me at the time. It still is. It's still a strange time to think about.
Has that neighborhood gotten better, or is it?
Yes. Yeah, no, it's way pretty now. It's so much nicer now. I'm happy to say, and I would say to definitely go to Northport and try out the sweet shop.
Okay.
It's the best chocolate malt you'll ever have in your
I
life.
love all these recommendations. Okay, so not only is that song 25 years old, so is this movie Loser.
Yeah.
Which is how I heard Teenage Dirtbag. Okay, can we talk about the music video? Because it's so different in the movie. And
Right.
Mina Savari, she's singing obviously the girl part of Iron Maiden, yet in the movie she doesn't even go see Iron Maiden. She sees Everclear, which you guys went on tour with.
Right. Isn't it? It's so like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. So basically, the video is supposed to be the prequel to the film, right? It's supposed to be like what happens to him in high school, right?
Okay.
Before he goes to college. And I didn't really understand where they were coming from on that, but there was this weird thing. We were supposed to use footage from the movie, but we didn't, and it was like I didn't really never ever get the explanation of why that was. But I will say that Mina Savari and Jason Biggs were really lovely people, and they were super patient and courteous and professional about being in somebody else's music video, which I thought was maybe a waste of their time because they were such big stars, like I was like, how do we trick them into this? This is crazy. So, I'll always be grateful that was an opportunity that we had. It's really cool. So cool.
That makes perfect sense. Now, I'm so glad you mentioned that was a prequel because I was like, wait a minute. Usually, when you do see music videos of a song that's in a movie, they use footage from the film. So I was like, okay, that totally makes sense. Okay, you know what other songs are turning 25 years like this year?
What?
Okay, I have a list. So we have Britney Spears, Oops, I Did It Again.
Oh, wow. No way.
And NSYNC, Bye Bye Bye.
Oh my God, really?
Three Doors Down, Kryptonite.
Oh wow, did you hear about him? He's very ill. That's so sad. I hope it all works out. I'm wishing him the best.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a cool song. What a tune.
Yeah, I saw your tweet out. Yeah, it's very depressing. And I've always wanted to see Three Doors Down live.
I did. I got to see them open for Creed at Madison Square Garden a few months ago, and they were great.
No way. You know what's
Yeah.
so funny? Because Creed is coming to the Bay Area.
Okay. Yeah, my friend Jeremy was guitar teching for them, and he got us in, and that was super cool.
Nice.
It was really fun.
Yeah. It was one of those bands when they first came out, like people liked them, and then you had the other girl like, no.
I like all music. There's some music where I'm like, I gotta buy the vinyl of that. I have to have a tape. I have to have everything. And there's some that I'm just like, cool, like this is all right. But very rarely do I actually dislike any kind of music. It's almost never happens.
Oh, excellent. Okay, in that same note, U2, Nickelback, they kind of fall in that category. And Beautiful Day, How You Remind Me, also 25 years old.
Wow. Oh my God. You made me feel really old, but in a good way, in a positive way. I'm not bad.
It's nostalgia.
Yeah, right, right.
I was gonna say that the next time you come to the Bay Area and you play Teenage Dirtbag, you should change the name instead of Noelle to Giselle, my name.
Okay, done. That's easy enough. Her name is Giselle. I had a podcast with her. I was late because the power went out for 40 hours. How she rocks. Oh, there's no other. No, never mind. No, I can't do it. It's the reason Gabrielle had to write Christmas Dirtbag because I can't see past the original version. It's really hard for me to parody it myself. She had to do it. She came back to me in like 24 hours and she's like, the first word is Noel, you dickhead. I don't understand. What's the problem here? But I'm telling her now the first word is Giselle.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, so I have a sign right behind me. It says music kills the soul. How has music killed you?
My God, Boy Genius kills me every time I hear them. Phoebe Bridgers, the song Punisher off her second record, that kills me every time I hear it. I die when I hear Rush, a song called The Mission or The Pass, either one of those two Rush songs. I cry when I hear Willie Nelson. I die every time I hear Ani DeFranco's Dilate. I die every time I hear Prince do Raspberry Beret. Oh my God, I'll be dying all day if you keep asking me this question.
It sounds like you need to listen to some emo songs.
No, because then I'll be really dead. Don't turn on Chris. Don't turn on Chris Caraba or American football or any of that. I'll be really dead when that happens.
So I was listening to some other podcasts that you were on, and you mentioned how you double majored in college. One of those majors was actually history. So if you could meet any historical figure in your life, like it could be in the past, who would it be?
Wow, that's so tough. Probably Ben Franklin. And I'd want to have my phone with me and show him like a Trump speech and be like, "You made electricity, and now this happened," and see if he freaks out or not.
Right. Yeah.
That the list of people who I'd want to meet on in history is endless. It would be interesting to like interview Ivan the Terrible, the Russian Tsar, because he was such an asshole, and see why he was like that. Yeah, I could go on and on. Oh, I know who it is. Mary Shelley, who wrote
Yeah,
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I would want to know. She wrote that in 1819. 1819 is like basically like 20 years after America was free from the British, right? Like kind of around now. How did she know how to write that story? Because it seems like it's too soon. 1819 would be too soon to understand all that technology and all of what that implies about science and
Okay.
scientists. Yeah, like what you did, what, when, like how, you know?
Okay. 'Cause, like she was like ahead of her time when it comes to the technology and science.
100 years ahead of her time, like
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I read that book my senior year, and then they made a movie about her, and Dakota Fanning's sister, Elle Fanning, played her.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
now I have to. You know what it's called?
I think it's called Mary Shelley, and it's on
Okay.
Hulu.
Oh my God, we can be friends again now after you said bad things about Chinatown.
Yes, I'm glad. Okay, I want to start this rumor, and then it's hopefully it gets added to Wikipedia that Beyonce's lemonade was inspired by Wheatus lemonade.
Oh, that's not true. I mean, we're on the same label,
Oh,
and
Columbia.
yeah, Columbia, and we played a show together once in England, the Princess Trust Party in the Park. She's such an original. She's never taken anything from anybody. She just makes her own shit that's so cool and so amazing. And I understand why people love that song. We did have a song called Lemonade first, technically,
Mhm.
but I don't think that they have anything to do with one another unless you start an internet rumor and then I find out that she did.
Put it out to the universe.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to steal any sunshine from Queen B.
I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'm gonna interview a band from Southern California. If you could share some words of wisdom, what would it be?
Are they a new band? Is that why you're
They
asking me?
are, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I would say trust your instincts. Don't get a manager until you absolutely, absolutely positively need one. And that's when you should only have a manager when you start making enough money where you're like, I can't keep on top of all of this. That's when you need a manager, not before that. Don't get a manager to like get a record deal. Like that's not, don't do that. If somebody wants to sign you and like is like, hey, why don't you go on TikTok every single day and make new content every single day? No, make good content, not new content, like be really good. Don't be forced and like repetitive and like, oh my God, I have to squeeze something out for the internet today. Don't do that. I don't think that's how great songs happen. So, and the other thing is, don't drink. Drinking, smoking, drugs and stuff. Like, I mean, I'm not talking about an edible here and there. I'm talking about like chain smoking and drinking alcohol every night kind of thing. Do not do that. That is like, the sure way to not be successful, I think, or to be a person who nobody wants to be around.
That's good advice. I actually interviewed Steve from the church, and he pretty much said that. He's like, don't drink, don't smoke, don't eat red meat.
Yeah, facts.
Well, Brendan, thank you so much for your time.
Well, good luck. I mean, we love you. We're not going to fight about Chinatowns anymore.
That's the highlight of this interview. Okay. I was like, heart you too, Brendan.